the white ones. I didn't say that. The State Department
That
did.
specific population is the ones who are facing the violence.
Yeah,
in Nigeria, you have
a
radical Islamic terrorists who probably do need to be bombed a little bit.
Hey,
I agree with you.
Or is it just white people who get special status in Trump's? Literally, the bar in Trump's new humanitarian, because they are white, they get special privilege.
I disagree with your characterization. I think
is that,
in the case
but is
of,
that
I
not?
think in the case of
so
Nigeria,
what's the policy then?
The policy right now.
But Scott, it is both bad that Christians are being killed, and also it is bad that Muslims are being killed. Are you able to say that?
Here's what I'm able to say: upwards of 100,000 Christians in Nigeria have nothing to say about this.
Scott,
There's
just 1 second.
7,000 deaths this year,
hold on a
35
second.
per day.
Scott,
it's
hold on a second.
I care about both, and it is wrong that either of those things is happening.
That yes, Christians are being killed, but so are Muslims. Muslims are also being killed. Let me give you another. Tonight, the no.
All right, guys. On this next video, you'll see that Abby Phillip, she really calls out Scott and his hypocrisy, but also the fact that Scott is saying something is not true, but offering no evidence or any argument that is untrue. So let's watch the video and we'll get into it.
First president is once again threatening to bomb a foreign country, this time after watching a Fox News segment. Donald Trump ordering the Pentagon to prepare for possible action in Nigeria, citing the killings of Christians at the hands of Islamic terrorists. Now, Trump said that Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria, but the reality on the ground is much more complicated. Both Christians and Muslims, the two main religious groups in the country, have both been victims of attacks, and the Nigerian government rejects the claim that it's not doing enough to protect them. In a separate post, Trump threatened to end all aid to Nigeria and warned that he would go guns a-blazing if its government didn't stop the killing. Now, Trump was apparently alerted to this issue after watching a Fox News segment while he was en route to Mar-a-Lago on Friday. And this is kind of typical.
Before I even let Abby go on, I hate interrupting Abby, but check out the reports. The reports is that Trump came up with this idea of what the response would be to Nigeria based on a Fox News report. Now, I would be remiss to not note that Fox News has already been sued for lying. I mean, it's as simple as that. They've already been sued for lying. But the fact that Trump saw this while he was riding on the plane and then presumably didn't consult with the Department of War, CIA, he just says, we're going to possibly discontinue foreign aid and possibly bomb a foreign country. Just seems ridiculous for him to make his foreign policy decisions based off of Fox News.
Trump fashion, he reacts to what he's seeing on television, but in this case, promising American military action in Nigeria over this issue where his facts are not even really lined up with what is happening on the ground, it's perplexing.
Yeah, so I think there are a couple of things to point out. One is that the president has, part of his charm to a large number of the American public is the fact that he reacts on the go. But this is also part of the problem, right? Why are we finding out about potential foreign policy from a Truth Social tweet or Truth Social, whatever it's called? Why are we finding out in this way? Why is the president making decisions in this way? Why aren't we having larger conversations behind the scenes about very serious accusations in foreign policy? The second thing is the reality is that on the ground, violence and really explosive violence in Nigeria isn't limited to Christians. It's something that is actually kind of cross-cultural, cross-religious. If you look at the bare numbers on the ground, you find that Muslim Nigerians are also experiencing the same level of violence, if not higher.
To that point, this is from the Associated Press. There have been a number of attacks, 20,000 deaths out of 11,000 attacks. But of those, 385 attacks were targeted against Christians, resulting in 317 deaths. But in the same period, there were 417 deaths among Muslims in 196 attacks.
I don't think you can minimize this, Abby.
No.
There's been about 100,000,
Hold on a
upwards of
second.
100,000 since
Hold on
2009.
a second.
7,000 this year.
Hold on a
It's
second,
real
Scott.
deal.
Hold on a second, Scott. I am not minimizing. Just because I'm putting facts on the table doesn't mean that I'm minimizing the deaths of anyone.
both sizing it.
I am. No,
not-
it's
no
not
both
called both
sizing it.
sizing it. It's called information.
Okay.
Information is okay to consume. Like, it's fine.
Wait a minute, Abby. Please don't talk to Scott and MAGA like they care about information or facts or anything of rational thinking. They just don't. So having a information conversation to Scott is like talking to a brick wall. Not gonna happen.
Trying to say that it is both bad that Christians are being killed and also it is bad that Muslims are being killed. Are you able to say that?
Here's what I'm able to say. Upwards of 100,000
answer.
Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered. It is a
Okay.
genocide. The same
hold on
people
a
who are
second.
worried
Hold
about
on.
the Middle East have nothing to say about this.
Scott,
There's
just 1 second.
7,000 deaths this year.
Scott is claiming that the people who had all of this to say about the Middle East have nothing to say about this right now. So let me say this, Scott. Were you talking about this? I mean, did you just hear about this? Let me know where the clip's at about you talking about this very specific issue of Christians being killed in Nigeria. Where's that at? So if we weren't talking about it, you weren't talking about it either, sir.
Hold on a second.
35 per day.
Scott,
It's
hold on,
awful.
hold on a second.
I care
okay?
about both, and it is wrong that either of those things is happening in the first place. Empathy is not a zero-sum game. We can care about both. And the answer to the question that you were just asked,
are you against
Scott,
the president intervening?
the question that you were just asked has a
That's a good question. I would like to know, from the followers and viewers, are you against or for the president intervening? The president dropping bombs in Nigeria. How do you feel about that? Is that something that you want to see happen? You want us to get involved in that manner, to get involved in a military strike on a foreign country is wild, based off of a Fox News report.
simple yes or no answer. And you decided to drag it on.
I don't
You
want
can just
anyone
condemn
to
that this is
die, but
happening.
I'm telling you right now, Christians are being systematically slaughtered, and they have been for years, and
Scott,
nobody cares until
Scott,
Donald Trump.
people actually in Nigeria are pointing out that yes, Christians are being killed, but so are Muslims. Muslims are also being killed. Let me give you another anecdote, and I'll let you get in, Penny, because I know you want to talk. But a Nigerian human rights advocate specializing in security and development disputed Trump's claims, telling CNN that they reflect a dangerous oversimplification of Nigeria's complex security crisis. Yes, these extremist groups have sadly killed many Christians. However, they have massacred tens of thousands of Muslims. He noted that the group's attacks on other civilian locations, such as markets, bus stops, and refugee camps, disproportionately harm Muslims. No one is minimizing the deaths of any person, including Christians. But when Trump is saying that he's gonna bomb a country over the genocide of one particular group while ignoring the disproportionate killing of another group in that same country, it just doesn't logically make a lot of sense.
I think the way he knows about this is through the U.S. Commission on Religious Freedom, who have openly has been discussing this because, surprisingly, and I was surprised to learn this, that the number one group of people that are killed for their religion are Christians around the world.
Okay, but we're talking
on Earth.
about Nigeria.
Well, and in Nigeria, 82, and for 22 to 23, 82% of those murdered, and it was a large number, and it wasn't just Christians, 82% were Christians. It is the Christian churches that are crying out, and we've been ignoring them. And so I'm grateful that we're having this conversation. And yes, of course, we need to save lives. I'm pro-life. I want to save every life. And so we can be in favor of saving the innocent from Islamist fascists who are murdering them. And it's not just happening in Nigeria. It's happening in Niger. It's happening in other countries in Africa.
Hold up. So we're calling them now Islamic fascists. That's a new word. It's a new combination of words that I haven't heard before. Okay, so is it possible, and I'm just asking a question, for it to be a Christian fascist or Jewish fascist, because to even say Islamic fascist is painting a broad target on Muslims and Islam as a religion. So I just wonder, can that same terminology be used if any of the other religious groups are behaving and killing people in a way that that people say is unspeakable on the other side from Muslims? Will we use the same language for these other religious groups that kill people also? Just a question.
And it's got to be dealt with. And I am so deeply appreciative that President Trump is taking this on very publicly, because we have got to take this seriously and finally start talking about it.
Well, look, I think everyone is right. I mean, I hate to say it, but Christians are being persecuted. They are being killed. That is true. But it is also true that Muslims have been killed in the country, right? And so, yeah, like Boko Haram is, a big problem there. First of all, you have a genocide that's been going on in Sudan. You have almost 1 million people between the Ukrainians and the Russians that have been killed. You have what's going on in China and the Uyghurs. By the way, there is a lot of bad stuff going.
By the way,
correct. That's right.
Being killed and persecuted by the communists. You know who's the biggest threat to Muslims? Communists.
But your premise of the question, Abby, it's a little strange. Like John Bolton got arrested, but somehow Trump has adopted his foreign policy. So there is a fight in the Republicans between the isolationists, which is a growing wing of the Republican Party, and Trump's foreign policy, and they are different. Trump has decided to intervene in some of these areas. By the way, I'm not necessarily against that. The United States has to have a role in the world, because if we don't, China will fill that void. Every time we withdraw, which is why Democrats were fighting Republicans when we started withdrawing foreign aid around the world, every time we withdraw, whether it's dollars or presents, China is coming in and filling that void.
One question that I have, considering that Trump is very concerned about persecution, is he going to extend refugee status to Christian Nigerians the way he extended them to white South Africans based on a very much disputed and arguably false claim of genocide in South Africa?
That's a great question. I think we're going to unfortunately find the answer to be a massive double standard, unless I stand to be corrected.
I don't agree with that at all.
Well, the good thing about it is we will be able to go back to this video and see whether or not Trump does grant some type of refugee status to these black Christian Nigerians who he is saying is being persecuted. We shall see. I think my money is on there will be no refugee status for those black Christians in Nigeria. No way.
I think
so he's going to extend
perhaps, I don't know. I haven't had this conversation with him
Christian,
at all, or anyone.
South Africans,
perhaps.
Scott,
perhaps also.
Or is it just white people who get special status in Trump's?
Literally,
the bar in Trump's new humanitarian policy is being a white South African. That is the preference that he is giving to certain people.
The bar is not being a criminal.
No. What about the black Christian Nigerians? Are they going to get special status?
I don't know.
If they're being persecuted?
I don't know, but here's what I do know. Right now, the topic of the day is whether we are going to intervene so that these people wouldn't need refugee status.
But hold on.
That,
so
to me, is the topic
we're going
of
to
the day.
bomb Nigeria, but you won't
we're
say
going to
that
bomb
Trump
radical Islamic terrorists.
You won't say whether Trump should offer them the ability to leave Nigeria if they are being
Well, I think the first answer would be let's keep them from getting murdered in their own
So why
homeland.
is that not the answer for South Africans, who, by the way, are not the victims of genocide, white South Africans?
Oh, well, they are certainly the victims of mass violence.
They're not the victims of genocide. Would you not agree with that, Scott?
Well, I mean, I can argue over semantics, but there's absolutely been violence committed against these
It's not
people.
semantics. It's now policy. It's government policy. The Trump administration is saying they're the victims of genocide. So because they are white, they get special privilege.
I disagree with your characterization. I think
in
the case of
so
Nigeria,
what's the policy then?
The policy right now
but Scott,
is
if that's,
the country of Nigeria needs to keep
but if you
killing from
disagree with me,
anyone.
if you disagree with me, then why? I mean, am I wrong that was not the policy that the Trump administration announced publicly?
Yes, but you're ascribing only racial motivations to it, and you're minimizing the violence that community has faced.
Because what's the definition of the people that they're going to allow in from South Africa? By definition, they have to be white in order to qualify.
Well, by definition, they are facing violence, murder, and all sorts of mayhem.
Well,
in their
look,
own
I mean,
country.
Scott, listen, if you think I'm wrong, I would like you to present other evidence. But
well, you're saying
the
it's only
evidence
racial.
is,
I'm saying it's because they're facing violence
he's not
in
saying,
their own home country.
Well, listen,
and murder.
He's not
and all
saying
sorts
that
of
any
But you're also saying they're facing
He's not
that
saying
in
that any
Nigeria.
South Africans can come to the United States. He's saying only the white ones. I didn't say that. The State Department
that
did.
specific population is the ones who are facing the violence.
Yeah,
in Nigeria,
it is
you have radical Islamic
Scott,
terrorists who probably do need to be bombed a little bit.
Hey,
I agree with Jared.
It's a race-based policy in South Africa. I'm curious if Trump will extend that same grace and.
Yeah, very telling that Scott did not automatically say that Trump should offer refugee status to the Black Nigerian Christians. And what Abby said is absolutely correct. Trump set a precedent, a bad, terrible precedent, but he did set a precedent of people being quote unquote persecuted in a particular country, and Trump finding this out and giving them special privileges and a fast track to refugee status from that particular country. He did it in South Africa, and it was specifically for white South Africans. So is Trump going to offer that same, like Abby said, grace to the Black South Africans who he said are being persecuted? Now, we all know that Trump has never really had anything good to say about countries in Africa, period. So my money is on Trump is not going to be offering any type of relief for those folks unless it has something to do with military exercise and bombing those folks. He's not going to be offering any type of relief via refugee status. But what Abby is actually referring to is the administration's new policy that caps refugee immigration status to around 7,500 people a year. So starting next year, that's what the number is going to be. And within that number, there is a preference for white South Africans in that number, in that limited amount of people that would be allowed into the United States through refugee immigration status. I'm not sure exactly which one, but yeah, I mean, that is stated policy of the Trump government to give these special privileges to white South Africans. So, I mean, it's a very, very specific race-based policy, and curious to see if Trump is going to adopt that same philosophy for these folks that are being killed in Nigeria. So, thought this video was interesting. Wanted you guys to take a look at it. If you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. Also, don't hesitate to like and comment on these videos. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about these topics. And until the next time, I'll see you. Peace.